welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video, where tonight we are previewing the early matchup for Week 13. Now, don't fret, we'll have the entire rest of the preview in a separate video, but since this game kicks off early, I'm feeling we can preview it, watch the game, recap it, all before the rest of Week 13 hits. So, without further ado, the card's already popped up here. Let's get into it. 12:05 p.m. Central Time, YouTube and Caffeine TV, live from the Tsongas Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. The 8-2 Green Bay Blizzard taking on the 6-4 Massachusetts Pirates. Now, if you would have told me before the season started that one team in this game would be 8-2 and the other one would be 6-4, I would have told you that these records were switched. Green Bay, one of their two losses is to this team, and you'll see it obviously down there below in the series history. They have that as one of their losses. Since then, they have gone 7-1, 8-1 since their opening loss. Massachusetts has been kind of a roller coaster. They've had some very high scoring games, some very low scoring games, and anything and everything in between. They've won by a point, they've lost by a point, and yeah, they've just been a roller coaster through and through this season, and the record shows for it. Taking a look at our statistical leaders, though, Max Miler leading in the rushing and passing category for Green Bay. I'd say he's probably on that MVP trajectory if you would have to ask me. 43 total touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, and he's got 1,500 total yards of offense. Now, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for a quarterback right now, especially getting pretty late into the season here. Leading wide receiver Lowell Patron, 30 receptions, 431 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And then leading in the defensive categories, Sean Mustin, as always. He missed last week's game, so hopefully he's back for this one. I'm pretty sure they'll need him with the running attack that Massachusetts has. Julius Wilkerson, welcome to the team. He has been here for 3 games? And he's already got 3 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 1 pick, and 1 pass breakup. Not much of a learning curve with him now, is there? Ravarius Rivers also throwing up some Defensive Player of the Year numbers right here. 54.5 tackles, 2 for a loss, 2 picks, 8 pass breakups, and 1 blocked kick. When Green Bay started their season with only 6 players returning from the previous year, with Rivers being one, Miler being the other, and obviously 4 of those in between, Trent Clark and Sean Steele and what have you, I did not think that this team would be doing what they're doing, but something has clicked within Green Bay, leading by Miler on the offense and Rivers on that defense. Green Bay has been really fun to watch. Their running game, their passing game, everything in between. The defense is stout. They're the number 1 defense in the league. There's a reason why this team is a potential dark horse candidate for a deep playoff run and potentially a championship. On the Massachusetts side, Alejandro Benefield leading in the passing, Jimmy Robinson in the rushing, and Teo Redding in the receiving. Julius Turner, Calvin Bundage, and Devin Hafford lead on the defensive side for their respective positions. For Massachusetts, like I said earlier, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. They've been winning some low-scoring games. They beat Tulsa 23-22. They lose by a point to Northern Arizona. I don't know what this team has been capable of. I mean, they did beat Green Bay 44-40. Well, you can see that down below. They've lost to Frisco just last week. I mean, by 4. So, I don't know. This team is losing close. They're winning close. It's a knockdown, drag-out fight. Not to be outdone, the offense has been pretty good. The return of Isaac Zico, who we'll get to in a second, has kind of helped this offense. 48 points last week. Our defense is one of the best in the league. I look for this one to be a knockdown, drag-out fight, man. Both these defenses can come out firing, but I could also see both these offenses just neutralizing the defenses. I don't see it. It can happen. Players to watch here. Max Myler, obviously, 5 total touchdowns last week. He didn't run the ball that well, but hey, what do you need to do? He's got 2 touchdowns on 5 yards rushing. Quarterback sneaks will get you the points. Ravarius Rivers, defensively, look at that stat line for him, man. 4.5 tackles, half a tackle for a loss, 1 pick, 1 pass breakup from a defensive back position. That's really, really good. On the Massachusetts side, Isaac Zico coming back from season injured reserve, 7 catches, 72 yards, and 1 touchdown. You're going to need more of that from him, especially with Green Bay's defense locking you down. I'm curious to see that Rivers-Zico matchup, or if Rivers gets lined up against Thomas Owens, or whoever the case could be, T.O. Redding, it could be whatever. Guy Thomas on defense, you're going to need to put pressure on Myler, keep him in the pocket, make sure that he has no time to throw, really disrupt him. Thomas was able to do that against Frisco a little bit. Yeah, they lost, but still 3 tackles, 2 for a loss, and 1 sack. He still got in the backfield quite a bit. Excuse me. Series history. Massachusetts leads 5-2. Their last game, 44-40, as we've alluded to, week 1 of this season. Blizzard are favored by 4.5 on the road. Moneyline juice to them, and an over-under of 91.5. So, with all that, let's go check out our injuries, rosters, and the rest of the preview. All right, injury report popping up, and not much for Green Bay. I think everything stays the same for them. Massachusetts has Vantrell McMillan. He played last week. He is now exempt. He is off to the UFL. I don't know who he signed to since they're starting their playoffs, so hopefully he's on a roster in the playoffs. Otherwise, that's weird. Short-term injured reserve, Connor Dagenhart comes off. Dallas Daniels goes on. So, not much of a shakeup for either of those. Let's move on with our rosters and see what we got. All right, 25-man roster. Offensively, for the away team, as we do with Green Bay, not really much on the offensive side. The only addition that they have added is Colby Thomas, number 77 on the offensive line. Everything else stays the same. They did bring Ethan Culberson in. He has started their last game, so I look for more continuity there for them. That's pretty much it offensively. Defensively, I don't think there's been any additions defensively, and I looked at these rosters at 4 o'clock on Friday, so not as recent. We'll see what stragglers, whatever, come along the transactions page on Saturday, but that's what I got. So defensively, there is a logjam on the defensive line. Take your pick. Who starts? Deshaun Mustin come back from his injury. He didn't play last week. Or is it more of the same? I mean, Rafiq Abdul-Wahid, I believe, has started every single game. LJ Lovelace bounces between a depth position. Sometimes he plays linebacker. We'll see what he does. I believe Christopher Biggers has played. Oladipo has gotten in there, so we'll just kind of see. Darren Brown has started a game too. I think he started last week. Secondary stays the same. Julius Wilkinson in the linebacker position. That's it for Green Bay. On the Massachusetts side, they're going with the 3-quarterback system. Probably not. Curious to see who dresses for the backup spot. Is it going to be Dagenhart, or do they have Quincy Patterson for the goal line, runs and rushes and sneaks? We'll see. Robinson is your only running back. Nothing changes. Actually, I'd take that back. Tyler Hudson, he didn't get signed, but he's kind of your newer addition with them normally running 4 wide receivers. Hudson is probably going to get some playing time here. Offensive line stays the same. We'll see who kind of swaps out in that regard. Defensive line, they have signed Adam Plant, so addition there. See if he's more of a depth piece. Caveat to this, looking at their roster on their website, they do have James Nanyumwaya. I know I screw up his name every time. I apologize. But I did see him on there. I didn't see him on the transactions report. I thought he was released or something, or maybe on IR. I can't remember. I didn't see him. But if he's on the actual website, I didn't include him. I probably should have, but we'll see. Linebackers, Lamont Bishop, Calvin Bundage will probably get the start. And then secondary, I've got Jaden Woodby instead of a linebacker. I've got him as defensive back because that's where he's played. And then you've got the rest of the secondary there as well. We'll see who gets the starts, who's the reserves, and things along those lines. Mevis and Sutherland are your kickers. So let's go check out our best bet. Let's go check out our predictions and all of that stuff. Okay, best bet, under 91.5. I know these two teams can score at a clip. I know that Massachusetts just put up 48. Before that, they put up 40. Green Bay's offense is clicking like crazy. So the over would probably seem like the likely candidate, but both these defenses are pretty good. I do see Jimmy Robinson running the ball. I do see them trying to get EJ Burgess or Jalen Cagle, even Max Myler going on Green Bay. Could this be something where they do put up points? Sure. It could be something where they both put up 40-plus points. In the case of that matters, you're only at 80, maybe 84. You're still under. I do see this game probably going into the higher 30s, maybe lower to mid 40s, in which case you're going to be kind of sweating a little bit. But under 91, I have to take that. I do see the over hitting. I can see it hitting, but I think 91 is a little too high. If you would have put this at like 88, that one would be more of a sweat. But I think 91 is just a couple points too high. Like I said, I could see this being something low 40s. Both teams are pretty good. Both teams do run the ball. They do like to use some time of possession. So that being said, under 91.5. All right, prediction time. Y'all ready for this? I got 42 to 40. I've got Massachusetts. It's early in the morning. Well, Central Time. It's noon. It'll be 1 o'clock their time. And yeah, the travel arrangements and stuff like that, I know, putting a little bit into this. We're, almost 2/3 into the season, so I don't think travel is necessarily an issue. But I think there's just something that Massachusetts is going to do that just catches them off guard, man. I got a close win by Massachusetts. I'm not surprised one bit if Green Bay wins. It'll be a little bit of a revenge factor, too, considering Green Bay lost by 4 points against Massachusetts to start the season in Green Bay. So, pun intended, a dish best served cold of revenge. If Blizzard can hand it right back to them, I'm not shocked. But the Pirates need this one. They'd need this one to stay ahead in the playoff race. If they drop to 6-5, and then you have, Quad City or whatever later on in the day, if they win, or if Tulsa wins, they start putting pressure on there, and then you're really getting to the meat of this season, the second, third, whatever of this season. You cannot be dropping these games if you're Massachusetts. You're losing to Frisco, you're losing to Northern Arizona. You cannot have that happen. Green Bay, on the other hand, they need the win in order to stay up within Frisco's range, and even hopefully Quad City beats Frisco. They're number 1 in the East. So, big game battle here. I think the Pirates just do a little bit, spicy hot take. I think the Pirates pull the upset. Again, not surprised if they don't. There's a reason why Green Bay is 8-2. They honestly should probably be 9-1 if it wasn't for that Week 1 loss. So, there we have it. Should be a fun game. I'll be honest with you. I'm expecting a defensive battle, kind of lower scoring in the mid 40s compared to or maybe low 40s compared to what these guys have been putting up lately. So there it is. There's the preview, predictions, bets, all of that good stuff. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this stuff. We'll get the other preview out in the morning. I just wanted to get this one out so people can watch it, since it's the noon o'clock game. 1 o'clock, and then if people are watching it on the West Coast Mountain Time, whatever, adjust your clocks accordingly. But yeah, there we have it. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Love you guys. It means a lot. Like, comment, subscribe, everything like that. Like I said, we'll get the rest of the preview for Week 13 out later. Until then, I am signing off here. Love you guys. Until then, see ya.